Eyeballs ahead jokes.
Well, welcome back to episode 5, right?
Yeah, 5.
Dark Side Thoughts. We had a very interesting one this week. We are joined again. All the gang is here. We got Tevin, we got Lil E. Langston, and myself and Kula. So you see how he went right through it, because I think it's because he took those 20 minutes to prepare for the Little E. Langston joke, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm glad he powered through it. But now we're here to talk about a very, very fucking interesting episode, which was probably, besides the Benoit one, was probably my favorite episode of the bunch so far.
You mean the Benoit 2?
Yeah, you know what I mean. This was about Eric Schultz, right? David Shultz. Where the fuck did I get Eric from? I don't remember. I probably just said whatever. That episode was crazy. It was nuts, and it's fucked up. Just to summarize it quickly, it's fucked up for somebody getting in trouble for something that they were told to do, but it wasn't on paper, so they couldn't cover their own ass.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it comes down to: you not being able to cover your own ass after your boss tells you to do something. And
is that Vince shit?
That is Vince shit. It's Vince shit. Of course, it's Vince shit.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
That's your guy. What happened?
That might become a term now, Vincing.
Vince shit or Vincing.
Yeah.
That's Vince shit. Or so and you could apply it to anything. You're walking around, you see some shit, you're like, that's some Vince shit right there. And you just keep walking. So we might have just coined the term here. So if we hear that shit outside in other podcasts or at other get-togethers and whatnot, that's some Vince shit. That's ours. So we should probably trademark that shit off the bat. Anyways, but yeah. But it was a really good episode. The insightfulness, I always the last couple episodes I've said insightfulness, but this one for real, in terms of how kayfabe was portrayed back in the 80s, was something that a lot of people wouldn't understand now. Certain people didn't understand that people thought that this shit was real, and other people knew that it wasn't real, but they worked really hard to protect the kayfabe up until a certain point, up until Vince decided, fuck it, let's just blow the lid open and make it an entertainment thing overall. But no, it was there's a lot of points that came across. First and foremost, I hate saying this about people I don't know, but fucking Stossel is a piece of shit. He's a little bitch. I just do not like. Look, I understand being an investigative journalist, reporter, whatever. That's fine. You're doing your job. That's great. And you he dealt with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, doing fucked up shit and blowing stuff open. And I get it. There's a lot of good work in there that he did. But to turn it to the sports industry, where people for the most part understand that it is fake, but we all, even back then, there were some people, like you said, that were fooled, that thought it was real. Some other people knew that it was fake. It was predetermined. There was a lot of things, not fake, but predetermined or whatever.
My problem is his problem.
That's my problem.
His problem, but to say it directly, he had a problem with the fact that he was a former high school wrestler. And he was mad at the fact that there's a difference between pro wrestling and amateur wrestling. That's what he was really mad at. And I get it. Those terms should be flipped when amateur wrestling is actually in fucking Olympics and professional wrestling is not. So I understand his problem, but the fact that you're so butthurt behind this,
that's what
ridiculous.
Instigated and motivated you to actually go forward with an investigation and an expose on fucking ABC's 2020. That was a little extra. That to me is some Vince shit, some Vince Russo shit, where you want to see motherfucker get knocked out, and that's why you had a brawl for all, and it happened, but it cost a lot of people their careers. In this term, it cost one person their career. in terms of David Shultz, unfortunately. But
Eddie Mansfield.
Eddie Mansfield is his own fault. He's a bitch for that too. I don't care. Nobody told him to do what he did. I understand the basic reasonings behind it. 401k, health insurance, and this and that. Like pretty much what everybody's still saying now to this day. Like they need health insurance, they need 401ks, and they still don't have that. But like it's just the way he went about it and the way he tried to cover it up. Like he said it himself earlier in the show in the beginning. He was like, watch, fuck with me, and I'm gonna expose everything. Which for me, you knew what you were doing. It wasn't for the wrestlers. It was for revenge. You're being an asshole, and then like it was just fucked up, and that's why
I just don't think it was executed right. I think it was for the wrestlers. I just don't think he executed it correctly.
Exactly. I was going to say that if his approach was different, like he could have been more adamant when he was talking to Stossel about how he wanted wrestlers to get 401ks, benefits, all that type of stuff. But the fact that he exposed like what goes on in the ring itself, like that's kind of fucked up because now like you're just exposing everyone's livelihood.
Yeah.
And you're just making them look like they ain't shit,
Yeah, so what I think he should have done is like he went after the business instead of actually going after the promoter when he wanted to actually go after the promoter.
Agreed.
He just didn't know how to do it because I don't want to say he was too young at the moment, but mentally, I say he was too naive at the moment to understand what the fuck he was actually doing.
Yeah, because at the same time, what you have to realize is like you go to ABC7 and tell them like, yo, let's do this. I want people to get this through their heads. Like, we need 401ks, we need like benefits and this and that, which you're all well within your right to want working for a company and being signed to them, whatever. But the problem is, like you said, him being naive and thinking that that's all it was going to be about. When you have one asshole that wants to expose the industry just because he feels that they're lying to people and bullshitting the people buying tickets, they know what they're going for, first of all. They know, one, it's a show, and two, it could be it could be fake. Sorry. Like back in the day, it could be pretend. And guess what? A novela is pretend. Just because it was being billed as sports doesn't mean anything. Like you go, like it's tantamount to watching fucking The Wizard of Oz and going to see it in Broadway. You know how it ends, but you want to see it in Broadway. You want to see the entertainment. So like the thing was like
that they're not trying to kill each other, but you're going to see some blood.
Exactly. You paired an investigative reporter who was being an asshole about it with somebody that his agenda wasn't fully formed and trying to talk about it, which kind of just led to the whole David Shultz thing, which unfortunately, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm glad he got slapped twice. I am.
I'm mad. I'm just mad it was only twice.
Frankly, he fucking deserved it. Yeah, agreed.
I didn't hear what E said. What you said, E?
It was wild disrespectful.
Yeah, and the thing that I don't get is the shit is on film. The question he asked verbatim. I think he didn't even ask. He said, "I think it's fake."
Yeah,
that warrants a fucking slap when it comes down to my career, my livelihood, and how I make money.
Absolutely.
Every time you talk to him, he changes how he acts how he states something. He always changes it. Even in the documentary, even in the episode, he changes it. He says, "What do you say to the people who think it's fake?" You didn't say that.
No, that's not what he said at all. He said, "I think wrestling's fake."
And also, can we make this clear? Like, yes, we're a little biased because we're all wrestling fans. Yeah. But even if you're not a wrestling fan, like what he did was just fucked up. Because at the end of the day, he's just disrespecting and shitting on people's careers, like in their livelihood.
I don't think I'm
that's
biased though.
That's like going to the NFL, right? And going up to the kicker and be like, "Why weren't you the quarterback?" It's tantamount to that because you're just pretty much calling them out, being like, "Oh,
you can only do that."
I could kick the ball too, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could kick the shit out of a fucking ball. I can't kick it like a fucking NFL field goal.
I can't control the field position.
Yeah, like they do what they do because they're fucking good at it. But the thing is, like, I'm not gonna go up to somebody and be like, "Hey, your shit is fake," or "Hey, you're not as good as what you think," or I'm not gonna test your livelihood. And that's exactly what he did
I mean, I say that on the podcast all the time, but I just wouldn't say that face to face.
No,
Certain people.
Obviously, but know your limits at least. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you could think shit, you could say shit, but like when it comes to certain people, like he even said, he was like, oh, when I met with him, when I was interviewing him, he was like, I was kind of afraid of him because, you know, he's this hulking figure, he has this demeanor, and like Vince told him, like, yo, go act, don't break kayfabe. Be you, be the character, be Dr. D, and like, you know, go do the interview as Dr. D. And Dr. D will slap a motherfucker. And Dr. D slapped a motherfucker. And then he made the mistake of getting back up.
The funny thing about that is he was told twice.
Yeah.
He was told twice. Eddie Mansfield told him as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much don't fuck with Dr.
Yeah, don't interview him.
Don't fuck with him. Yeah. Watch how you talk to him because he will. And it happened. So it's like, as the reporter, you want to get the story, you want to get 100% of everything. You don't like, you rather be in the fucking fire rather than watching the building burn if you're gonna get out. But at the same time, not when you know it's gonna cause bodily harm and you might not. But at the same time, all of this was basically for not just for journalism, but it was also for that $250K that he got.
280. I wrote it.
280. Yeah.
The way I felt like he approached it like a high school kid who's getting bullied, and like now, you know, he's made it in life. He wants to like antagonize those who used to pick on him and whatnot.
Yeah. Definitely true.
So what do you think about the whole thing that him and Hogan were best friends and shit, and then like Hogan turned his back on him seemingly after this whole incident and whatnot, and like he was technically like the number one heel in the fucking business at the point. And from him to go from number one heel to just like pretty much being blackballed out of the industry after a while, like that's a big fucking deal. Like he was big shit back then. He was rivals with Hogan, and like, what do you think about that? Like,
I just wish he didn't get blackballed, but at the same time, I'm happy with his end story that he has. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But as far as the character, I'm kind of mad that he got blackballed because, like, we need that. Like, we need that version of the wrestler. We have the biggest babyface in wrestling history, which is Hulk Hogan, but we don't really have a true opposing figure to him.
You don't have the biggest heel ever. Like,
exactly. Exactly. We don't have that. And he was that, and I'm not that much of a Hogan fan. I respect him and I like what he's done, but he's like to me, Flair is a tweener, but he's the closest thing to the opposing figure of Hogan.
Yeah.
Only because he's like, it's not that he's the bad guy. He's just the guy that everybody wants to be.
Yeah.
Realistically.
I like Cornette's explanation towards the end where he was like, you know, as the WWE got more
Disney.
like Disney.
Yeah, cartoonish, yeah.
Which we always say, cartoonish and Disney.
Straight away. And who knows, he probably would have gone to WCW, had some feuds with Cactus Jack, Vader, Sting, Luger. And he probably could have, you know, built himself up from there.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been dope, honestly.
What about you, E? Like, how you feel as far as Hogan being the biggest and just where we are now with David Shultz as far as his character?
David Shultz, it's like the biggest missed opportunity ever.
Yeah.
The amount of money that could have been made. Like, think about it. He was supposed to be the Stone Cold to, you know, Hogan's Rock, the Orton to Hogan's Cena, you know? And
that's great comparison, actually.
And basically, they swapped him out for Roddy Piper. Because I feel like that should have been the right pairing. Dr. D and Bob Orton, or Dr. D and Roddy Piper versus Hogan and T. But things happen the way they had to happen. Can't be mad. We still got the product we got today.
Yeah.
We had 36 WrestleManias. Huh?
Some mob tie shit going down, man.
It is. And it's crazy, like, how Vince had basically, I might be getting ahead of myself, but how Vince basically tried having him sign a paper to take the fall. Like, that was
that's what happened.
Scumbag shit, though.
I'm gonna need you to take this L real quick, like.
Right? Like,
take this L.
Favor, take the L. Just say you did it.
Like, nah, you told me to do that, homie.
And you know what? Like, I don't blame David Shultz for that shit, because like the thing is, you were told this is like what happened. Yeah, exactly. It's like what happens with me at work. Like, I'm sorry. People tell me, oh, can you do this, and this for me? Send the email. And they're like, oh, but it has to get done now. You have a phone. Send the email. I need it in writing. Oh, how come? I'm like, because that's against policy. And if it's against policy and you're asking me to do it, I need an email so I could backtrack it to you and be like, oh, hey, why was this done, Alex? And then there's an email from my manager saying to get this done. So I don't blame Dave Schultz for being like, yo, you told me to do this shit. Like, had he been smarter, like, and I mean, you're in the moment and you're not really thinking about it, but like, if you get told by your boss, yo, go be kayfabe, go, like, don't break kayfabe, go out there and do what you gotta do.
But at the same time, like, it's still difficult when the whole lifestyle of professional wrestling is staying in character,
stay in your lane. Yeah, exactly. So I don't blame Dave Schultz for any of that shit, honestly speaking. And he was smart to not take the blame for that, because like
he was even smarter. He was even smarter to actually go and speak to
a lawyer,
to Stossel's lawyer.
Yeah,
personally before WWE and Vince got that lawsuit. So kudos to him, because people wouldn't do that. People would try to be so loyal to WWE and then end up hating Vince and WWE later on. So just kudos to him for that. Like, he was looking out for numero uno. Like, sometimes that shit just doesn't happen, and sometimes you just think, oh, what, like to backtrack to Snooker's episode, like, he just signed anything and said, because Vince won't pay me if I don't sign it.
Speaking of that, right? How crazy is it that Hogan goes on Belza, basically drops the dude?
I was waiting for that one, for somebody to bring that up.
Like,
that was amazing.
What?
Yeah, that was a crazy triangle choke. He just put him in a sleeper triangle and lifted him up.
You see his arm just go.
Yeah, I've been in that hold. Like, when I was doing Muay Thai and shit, like, I've been in that hold. Mm-hmm. And dude, you fade fucking fast, especially if they either pull it up or push down and back with the pressure on your neck. And I didn't get knocked out. It's practically a guillotine almost. I didn't get knocked out, but like to the point where everything just started going black, and I tapped mad quick and they let it go. But homeboy just dropped him like a sack of fucking russets, sack of potatoes on the floor, falls back and hits his head. I'm like,
bust his shit open too.
I'm like, you could have legit. That's a brain injury potentially. Yeah. Dude just got slapped after asking a question.
He sits back down and defends that shit too.
Yeah. He was like,
But the defense was bullshit. That defense was bullshit. He said, oh, well, as a wrestler, when somebody asks me how to do something and I show him and they're just steady laughing in my face, dude, like, it's a fucking show.
And you're giving a demonstration of a move.
Yeah, like, you know what you signed up to do. Like, this is a show. It's an audience. Like, you're a fucking baby face. If this was any other show, if it was a wrestling show, it's understandable. If it was a wrestler, it would be understandable. But it's someone that knows nothing that hosts the show. And, like, even Jim Cornette said, like, it had to be a settlement.
Yeah, there definitely was a settlement in the background. Because he choked them out on fucking, like, on live TV, practically. I mean, not live TV, but, you know, like, they get, it's kind of like Saturday Night Live or whatever. But, like, fuck it. the fucked up thing is, like, you felt him go limp. Number one, you felt him go limp. You saw his shoulders just, and then you just let him go. Just let him go.
Okay. No, he was a little mad about it. He was a little salty. He was salty.
Who?
Hulk.
Of course he was. Yeah. Of course he was salty. Yeah. So that's why he dropped him like that. Yeah. But the other thing is, like, it's fucked up that, I mean, just like Jim Cornette said, he could have fucking shot him on TV and not gotten in trouble with Vince. He still would have been the main fucking attraction, regardless. But because
the comparison to Snooker.
Yeah, not even that. It's because if you're the main fucking baby face or one of the main baby faces, but if you have the top fucking heel that's probably been the best heel in the history of the game, you don't want to be seen as being defending the heel. You want to be seen as defending the fucking babyface. Even though the fucking top babyface and the top heel basically go hand in hand. So
yeah, because it's easy to make another heel. All you got to get is another asshole who knows how to wrestle, who does not like people, or not quote unquote. But hence, look at Brock. He's the easiest fucking heel to have. He doesn't like anyone. He doesn't fake it at all. And he's an asshole. Even, like, what was it? I think WrestleMania 34, he threw the fucking belt at Vince. Like, come on. Vince is an asshole. Like, and that was it. Like, there's nothing else he can do.
You know what I find amazing? This was beneficial to them becoming an entertainment business. They were able to stray away from the sports business and become an entertainment business.
Yeah, because, like, he talked about, like, how Vince decided to open up the business and call it sports and entertainment instead of sports. So that way, all the sporting licenses didn't really apply to them anymore. So they would pretty much be able to go to any arena, and the tax deductible, like, pretty much the gate, like 6% of the gate would go to the state, pretty much wherever they're operating in, which made it easy. It doesn't, you said? No, that's the deal that they struck pretty much.
Oh, I thought that
because for you to operate as a sports entity, you have to apply for a sporting license. Like, that's why David Shultz got fucking pretty much suspended by the NYAC, by the Athletic Commission, because of
I know that, but I thought the deal was basically to negate that so that they wouldn't have to, because, like, looking at boxing, like, the comparison from boxing that we used to have, because it's an actual physical fight versus it being Broadway. Like, that's what I thought was the reason to negate the fact that they have to pay for.
I mean, I might have heard it wrong.
I think Cornette was saying it the opposite way.
Okay.
The way I said it, pretty much, like that they pay.
I think the way Cooler might have been saying it. I think they were trying to get rid of the 5% or the 6%.
That's probably what it was then. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, because boxing has to pay, but, like, even though, like, if they took a Broadway show on the road like they did with the Tupac show a couple of years ago, they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, because it's entertainment technically. Yeah, but I mean, it was smart.
So wait,
fucked up at the same time.
So wait, Dana White still has to pay that fee, doesn't he?
It's a sporting fee.
Yeah.
It's a sporting license. That's why.
So that was the whole point.
Sports entertainment. Yeah. So yeah, like I think, I mean, what Vince did, I mean, I get why Vince did what he did to open it up and make it more business friendly and, like, family friendly and all that shit, cartoony, like where we are at now, pretty much. But like him pretty much contradicting the whole kayfabe stuff, that what he pretty much explicitly told him to do: fuck with the reporter, be yourself, don't break character, to protect the business. And then, like, a couple of years later, he was like, well, no, we're just entertainment. It's all fucking fake.
You know what's so funny about that? Because, as you guys know, I'm the Twitter guy. It's like such a blurred fucking line today on Twitter. Like
it's getting hard to decipher a little bit more and more now. I've been noticing that.
Yes, like, some people are just, I'm a quote unquote superstar, whether it's a WWE superstar or a superstar in general, because I do movies, I do this, I do that, and I'm in the ring. And some people, like Randy Orton, is just asshole all day. because that's because that's who he is, and at the same time, it's like that's his character, but it's a little bit of both. His character is to be himself, I guess. So it's like you said, it's hard to decipher because some people are just always on. Maybe it's because that's who they are, and sometimes it's just like, is that who they are? Because as a superstar, they're like kind of closed off. Like Stone Cold is. If it wasn't for him being in movies and having a podcast, we would not really know too much about his personality.
True, you're right.
So it's really kind of hard when it comes down to kayfabe.
No, 100%. I agree because sometimes what might be something might be a work now on Twitter that we might not know about. People might think it's real and it might not be. Or we might think it's a fucking work and then no, they're actually beefing and shit. So like
yes, Ronda and female wrestlers, we have no idea whether it's a work or not, but it's something.
Nah, I don't think it's a work. I don't think it's a work.
It's back and forth.
Ronda's a bitch.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
If you would have followed Ronda's career in the UFC,
no, she was kind of a jerk there. Yeah,
she's a real
like
jerk.
that. She was like that,
and it's just the perfect wrestling character. She's a natural heel in general. Like I said,
yeah.
I'll say.
And I think, honestly, I think that's why they fucked up with her. That's how she should have been the whole time when they tried to make her good. And then towards the end, when she started just fucking people up indiscriminately, I was like, okay, that's what I was expecting the whole time. But either way, that's neither here nor there.
Like the way they're making Baszler is basically what Rousey is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess because there's so much attention to her, and she does have a good smile, I guess,
Yeah.
And when she does smile, she looks like she's a Powerpuff Girl and shit,
I'm hot. Now I'm hot. I had too much.
Oh god.
I had to put the cup.
All right. Back to what we were originally talking about. Not about fuckiness, not about anything else.
Wait, I have one.
About heels and what?
No, it's pertaining to the episode.
Okay.
How do we really feel about Eddie Mansfield, the former baseball player, being injured and not being able to play baseball and going into wrestling, being quote unquote self-taught?
There's plenty of guys like that. As long as they learn and they get through the shit and they actually work properly, then as long as they're not injuring anybody else.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
As long as that's the main priority too. Like, not just them being safe, but make sure their opponent is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, I have no problem with that. Like, there are people that aren't taught how to play the piano. They just start learning how to fucking do certain things, and like you could just pick certain things up. Just like Ronda, she had never wrestled before. Just to bring that back up, but like she went back into wrestling. Okay, I'm talking about like. Professional wrestling. But no, like it's some people can't take to it. Like it is what it is. What was I gonna say?
Was he blackballed?
I think he was, honestly.
Rightfully so.
No, not rightfully so, because that's some Vince shit. That's not rightfully so. Wait, who do you mean? Mansfield or? Oh yeah, fuck Mansfield. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Schultz.
Oh no, I'm still talking about.
No. Mansfield was rightfully blackballed because of what he did. He had no reason to do what he did, just because he had a little fucking temper tantrum. I understand where he's coming from. I do fully, 100%. We've all said like, hey, these guys should have health insurance. These guys should have fucking 401ks to be set for when they retire. But the problem is, he just went about it wrong. He went about it in a slightly revenge route and got caught up in the fucking some other assholes like. Say to like just try to.
So what he was trying to do, like we said, I said he was being naive about the way he went about it. But I think what he was really trying to do was really trying to go the John Oliver route.
Who?
John Oliver Oliver. He had that episode on.
That's two different fucking.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying is that's the route that he was trying to go, where John Oliver spoke about.
He failed hard.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah. I was just saying
because he didn't get his way.
Yeah, definitely true. But what I was just saying was that's the route that he was trying to go that just did not pan out at all. Because
that's also what he's saying that he was trying to do. But of course, like anybody else, when they look at it, they're like, fucking bullshit. Like they call bullshit immediately. They're like, I don't think so.
It's definitely
No.
bullshit because you didn't have to bring him in the ring. All you had to do was
just talk to him about it outside.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Just
That's
speak
it.
your piece. All right. Well, all for man's fault. I don't have nothing else to say about him.
How cool is it though that David Shultz became a fucking bounty hunter afterwards? Like,
Amazing.
Like when I saw that shit, I was like, that's, and he did become one of the best bounty hunters, period, out there for when he was a bounty hunter.
He was able to travel the world.
Yep. I heard nothing just now.
He said that he was able to travel the world. I really didn't hear.
I didn't hear E.
I said he was the best nationally.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He was best nationally. Like that story that he had with saving the 2 girls that were kidnapped for like 3 years. That's fucking crazy. Like tracked them all the way to Puerto Rico. Like that is some movie shit. That's some Taken shit. Literally Taken. And he went and did that once. Shit. Exactly. Because nobody watched 3. But
no one.
Those are 3.
The thing is like that's exactly. Yeah. Point exactly. Point taken. But like no, it's fucking insane that like that shit happened, became a very successful bounty hunter, like known nationally, known internationally, because a lot of those clips were from Japan. Like they had like Japanese writing on the sides and everything. So like it's pretty fucking incredible. And now like he seems to be at peace. Like towards the end of the episode, you saw him. He seemed to be at peace with like he's like, yeah, shit went down the way it did. He just told his side of the story. He's like, if people don't like me, fuck them. I don't care. That's their problem, not mine. He's like, I'm just driving this cotton from the gin to the warehouse, calling it a day. He was like, and that's what I'm gonna do for the next 3 months. And I'm gonna chill.
Okay, so since you said the thing about the cotton gin, right? Last thing I want to bring up, last thing in general in everdom that I want to bring up about Eddie Mansfield. What do you guys think about his quote of Lincoln freed the slaves but forgot the wrestlers?
Yeah, I didn't get why he had to say that.
I don't get the reference.
So when I saw that and when he said that while I was typing, I was just like typing notes. I was like, you know that scene in Billy Madison where like at the end they're having the ethics thing and he goes on his long diatribe about the dog and the puppy, whatever. And then the guy looks at him and he's like, everybody is now dumber because of that. That's pretty much the equivalent of what he said. Yeah, that's how it made me feel. I was like, what the fuck did he just say? I'm like, how do you go from no? Like, I think that's what was on Twitter. That's what was on Twitter. Somebody, I think it was you that retweeted it, but he was just like, that he tried to sound smart, but like just ended up sounding stupid as fuck. Like
I said that.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was like, that's the dumbest shit.
Yeah, he tried to say some real profound shit and just said shit.
Yeah, I don't even think he said shit. I just look at the teddy bears. I just think he
teddy bear
like,
laugh.
I don't.
I had to rewind.
I just luckily for me, I couldn't rewind it because I was watching it on Sling. So I was just replaying the whole episode. I was like, good. I didn't want to hear it again because I might have gotten fucking dumber off of that one.
Yeah, that was the greatest, dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like
I was utterly confused. I was utterly confused at what I just heard. I was like,
and that just proves the fact that even if he had the chance to do what he did then again, he would do it again and still not know what was wrong.
Yeah.
He would still not know what the fuck was wrong with what he did.
Agreed. Where does this motherfucker go? He wants to pee again?
I think
he was drinking a lot of water.
He was drinking
a lot of water, so he probably wants to go pee or some shit.
You know what I find? How basically all the wrestling promotions after Vince became like sports entertainment. Like they kind of followed suit.
I mean, at that point, they had to.
Smarter.
They had to because they were going to be paying out of pocket for the sports stuff. And it was just easier. There were practically no restrictions. Like you said, like if you're taking a Broadway show from New York to Chicago for a couple of weeks, like you could literally do that without, all you have to do is just work it out with the venue. That's pretty much it. So what the fuck is so funny?
Look at your text.
Did he fall in the toilet?
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah,
God,
like
I know.
that's really true. Like they have to be there. Like no matter how much you dislike what some of the things that Vince does, some of the things that he does is actually better for not just his company, but it's other companies' due diligence to follow and to follow suit. Like no one wants to pay that fucking no one wants to pay that much of the gate.
Yeah.
For just being in the city. Like for all that, you might as well just do it like UFC and be there every 3 months and have a show, or every 2 months have a show. Nobody wants to do that. Fuck it, call it sports entertainment, and you're there for free. You whether you sell out or you don't sell out, it's 100% profit.
Yeah, agreed.
So he was really smart in that aspect. So. Like I was thinking while I was like watching it, I was like, so is AEW sports entertainment or not? Like they might not say that they're not sports entertainment, but they might.
They are 100%. I don't care what anybody says. New Japan, NWA, ROH, Impact, everything falls under sports entertainment. Period.
Yeah. Okay. It's sports entertainment with just sports heavy.
No, it's just sports entertainment.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying is that's their way to describe what they're doing. The company is sports entertainment, but WWE is more entertainment versus this other company is.
I don't think you can really make that distinction because honestly speaking, like the thing is, if they wanted to just be entertainment, they would have just branded themselves as an entertainment company. Period. First and foremost. Secondly, the reason why they put the sports entertainment aspect in there is for the people to like understand, like, yeah, we have athletes that can perform, that do certain things, but we're trying to entertain you at the same time. Just like you would when you go watch a football game or a basketball game, you're being entertained while you're watching the sports.
Yeah. Oh, no, of course.
It counts as sports entertainment, but the reason they just threw the sports in there is because they have athletes and they're entertaining. So it's like, honestly speaking, something like Cirque du Soleil could literally put the same fucking branding on their thing. They are technically sports entertainment because they have athletes that do crazy shit, flips, and all the stuff like that you wouldn't see regularly. People that are like on 42nd Street doing the fucking shows in the streets, those are sports entertainers because they're dancers, but guess what? They're still like
athletes. Yeah.
You tell me anybody that could dance as well as somebody on the D train going from 59th to 125th on the fucking thing without falling over. Tell me they're not sports entertainers.
Oh, no, and that's not the argument. The argument is not saying that they are or aren't. You're 100% right with that.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was not the argument of whether it is or isn't. It's more of the percentage of is or isn't one of the other. Because everyone gripes about WWE is, it's more hokey than it is athletic. Nope. Well, not more than it is athletic, but it's less wrestling than it is entertainment.
Anybody that says that AEW is better because it's actual sports entertainment compared to WWE or whatever, or New Japan is better because it's actual sports entertainment, blah, 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 whatever, like that's a baseless fucking thing to say because of the fact that they all technically kind of do the same thing regardless. Whether you have one more or two more matches on your show than the other promotion does not discredit you for being a sports entertainer and downgrade you to being just an entertainer. The only reason why we see WWE the way we see them now as like more entertainment sort of is because they've been doing this shit for so long that this is the only thing we've had to watch. When AEW comes to the forefront as a new company, they're trying to put more of a wrestling focus and only entertainment focus. And that's all it is. That's all the distinction is. If people want to say otherwise, you're welcome to do so. But the fact of the matter is they're both sports entertainment at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, no, of course. Agree to disagree, but at the same time, we're still agreeing on everything. It's just all I was saying was just the percentage of it, of amount of it. One is more sports than the other is entertainment, pretty much. That's all I was saying. Do you understand that?
No, I get it, but that's just based on how many promos you have cutting that week.
No. Well, it's case by case, really. But yeah. But it's really case by case because New Japan is more it's more sport. It's more sports when it's more combat. That's all it is. But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
100%.
this just reminds me why I picked you to have the show with, because fucking arguing points, the same point, and neither one of us are backing down.
Like,
and
cut
both,
you, bitch.
and both of us are right.
I was going to try to emphasize on the athletic part before this heated discussion came about, and how they travel the year, like what? They travel for like 300 days a year or something like that. They're on the road.
Yeah, 300 plus.
And on top of that, they have to be in the gym consistently. They have to be in some type of shape. Yeah. Whether you're the big powerhouse or you're the technician, the high flyer, you have to be in some type of good shape.
Definitely true. Definitely true. Because it's really something that you just can't take. There's no time to take off, because as an athlete, shit, if you don't work out for 5 days, you don't even feel the same anymore.
Bro, let me tell you what happened.
Oh, he's back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. So I went for a walk the other day. I ordered Salvadorian food. I had to go to the bank. I was like, I bet. Let me go to Fordham. Let me go the other mile to go pick up the thing.
In the Bronx.
Exactly. And I was just like, and then I'll walk the rest back. I've walked that length before plenty of times, 4.6 miles. Not a big fucking deal. Fam, it was a big fucking deal. Because the thing was, we've been shut in. I didn't think about it. I was like, I've done this shit before. The next day, my foot was fucked up because I had twisted it on the fucking sidewalk. I hit a crack. It's tweaked. And then on top of that, like, the back of my knees were hurting. My fucking hips were hurting. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Why can't I walk? About the cement and the potholes?
Bro, so like, I don't know. At this point, I'm going to call it Ghostbusters. But still, like, the thing is, like, what Tevin was saying, it's a point, like, and what you were saying, yeah, like, if you haven't worked out in 5 days, if you worked out for a whole month straight and you know how it feels, you haven't worked out in 5 fucking days,
you want to quit.
That's a setback.
Yeah,
that's like a huge setback. Yeah.
And I got nationals to look forward. So how do you think I feel?
I know you're gonna have to. I mean, hopefully that y'all still have it. Like, I hope to God y'all still have it. But like, yeah, you're gonna have to put in a lot of fucking work for that shit.
It's still going to happen for now, but now it's available for everybody. So that's the fucked up part. Not fucked up as in, like, they don't deserve to be there, but just fucked up. It's going to be so much
it's
people.
Open. Yeah. Like, open
so it's like the Royal Rumble now.
Yeah. Speaking of Royal Rumble, I do want to talk about the Big Four. Mr. T at WrestleMania.
Big Five. Now it's a big five.
It definitely is a big
Money in the bank?
Yep.
Yeah, it matters. It definitely matters.
Yeah, Mr. T at WrestleMania.
It's not even really Mr. T. It's really Hogan, and how Dave actually like got kicked out of being like he got fired at WrestleMania. He ended up just going to sit in the crowd, and he got escorted out with 2 shotguns to the head.
So there were 2 different stories. One that we heard directly from what happened from Schultz, and the other one that you heard from a 2019 podcast, which I'm pretty sure was bullshit. Hogan said that he slapped Mr. T in the face out of nowhere. But the funny thing is that same night they have a picture of them 2 like hanging out and laughing in the back, Mr. T and Schultz, like just chilling in the back laughing. There's like a legit picture about it. So it's like,
I don't.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Mr. T is not letting that shit slide.
What do you mean?
Mr. T was slapped badass back then.
Yeah,
exactly. Mr. T is not letting that slide. So it's gonna be a real fucking fight, no matter where you're at. Especially if you're in the
that shit slide. And being correct is the man back in the 80s.
Yeah, he's not letting that slide. So I do not believe Hogan.
No, yeah. Hogan's a racist. I don't care.
It's 2019 and he's still trying to get over. Come on,
exactly.
Son.
I mean, it's because Vince keeps trying to get him over.
Kayfabe doesn't die, but it does die.
Yeah, his shit died when he was known to be a racist. That's just me. But I mean, is there anything else? We went pretty much over everything I had in the notes, anyways, already. So I think Who wants to get interviewed by Stossel? So we could just slap the shit out of him.
You think writing is real?
You think journalism's real?
Right? I had a question that I had wrote down. I don't know where it's at. Does the business protect those that protect it?
No, absolutely not. This episode, case in point.
Yep.
That's what the whole episode was practically about.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, it's like the security guard that goes and tackles the thief gets hurt and sues the company because the security guard is just supposed to stand there.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Don't chase me outside your store, you little bitch. Like, it's really nothing you can do.
But like I've seen where a security guard runs after him, catches the guy, gets the stuff back from getting stolen,
and they get fired.
And they get fired for doing what is essentially their job.
It happened to some lady security in Hawaii at a Best Buy. This lady should play offensive tackle for the fucking Giants, bro. She literally, stopped the dude from running out and, even body slammed him and shit. And she got fired. Dana White found the video on the internet. It came across his timeline or whatever.
He hired her?
He hired her as his security.
Bet.
Even better. Fuck you, Best Buy. She's never gonna buy anything from Best Buy.
That's a good ending for her. Not even an ending, but that's dope.
Yeah. She was there. She was the one standing in the middle between Cowboy and McGregor at the weigh-in.
Dope. That's dope as shit. One last question. What happened?
Dana, what's up?
Right? Yeah.
You gotta body slam somebody. I'm a G, motherfucker.
That's all you gotta do. Just run through a motherfucker.
Yo, we could set this shit up too, yo. I'll take a ban from Dolan for life to help you out.
That's a good friend right there.
Yeah.
I'll yell at Dolan, tell him sell the team, and you could body slam me down from the fucking mezzanine or some shit like that.
On a power slam.
Final question. What's up?
Has WWEF, whatever you want to call it, has they always have shitty doctors?
I wouldn't say shitty doctors, but that was just a doctor trying to get it out of yo, you're okay. Stop being a bitch about it. And which he pretty much confirmed.
He was
himself.
fine.
Yeah,
he was fine.
He confirmed himself.
He said the pain went away
as soon as he got the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So full of shit, man. So that's why the doctor was like, I mean, I could understand what anybody else, yes, they've always had shitty doctors, period. First and foremost, that's without a doubt. Because Vince is going to pay the doctor to tell them to whatever. It's going to be Vince shit, obviously. But yeah, the doctor was just like, motherfucker, you fine. Stop.
I wonder why Leonard had the same doctors.
Who?
Yeah. Because he definitely did get slapped in the ear that second time.
Yeah.
Second time he got slapped in the ear.
But you know what? He deserved it too. I don't care.
Yeah.
So things we took away from this: John Stossel deserved the shit out of getting slapped twice. Well, one, he should have never gotten up.
Yeah, yo.
One, he should have never asked a question. Two, should have never gotten up after the first.
I'm getting up. I'm sorry. I'm getting up.
Yo,
but he fell right back down.
Getting up to run away.
Yeah. I would have crawled up or just have been like, nah, nigga, stop, fuck out of here.
But it's the greatest thing about it all is the other wrestlers in the back laughing.
Yes,
the great it was just he was humiliated. That's what it was,
and that's what his whole thing was about.
That's the whole point of everything. Vince wanted him to be embarrassed and humiliated,
and he achieved his goal, and then he's fired the dude that did it. Which was that's the fucked up thing, and that's some Vince shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what it is. But
Vince,
what happened?
I was gonna say one more thing. I just kind of hope this documentary, this episode, particular, kind of makes people, I won't say stray away from WWE, but kind of look at it in a different light.
Yo,
in what terms? How do you mean?
How shady Vince is.
Just how shady, the company is and how it was built, basically.
I think that's what this whole season is doing. If not this whole season.
Yeah. You kind of have a point.
if not this whole season, both seasons, because
it seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, it's Vince is shady, and Vince is going to look out for his baby faces, not his heels. And it really doesn't matter how he's going to do it. He's going to do it, whether it's covering up a murder or covering up or just settling someone being choked out on live TV or someone being slapped on a ABC expose. Like he's gonna make sure him and his business is fine.
Yeah.
And that's what he's gonna do at all costs.
Yeah.
And that's the one reason why he's kind of my guy. Kinda.
I understand why he does what he does. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't understand.
Limits.
There's certain times where you should maybe, at least go the other way, not go the Vince way. Yeah.
It's always the question of morals when it comes to everything that Vince does, pretty much.
Yep. Which, for the most part, has none. But
businessman.
Yeah. With that being said, he's a ruthless businessman. With that being said, that's the end of this episode. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. This was a really good episode to talk about because it's obviously shit that we always talked about. And this just shined a new light on what happened with Dave Shultz and everything. It's just crazy that he was still like the number 2 fucking guy like the whole time. And like I had rarely heard about him, but like it's just I didn't give it much thought. Yeah, like I've heard about it, but I didn't really go into it.
I always seen that Slack clip, but I never know who was who, and I never know why anything happened other than dude saying, "I think this is fake," and getting the shit slapped out of him. And I always said it was good for him, and I say even more so good for him.
Yeah, after this, you deserve them shits big time. And maybe even a third. Exactly. Exactly. But thanks again, guys, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Again, you follow us on Twitter at Pokes and Chokes, myself at _Mr. Alex 25 _ the other guy just said, "You guys are amazing" at
NU _KEWLA.
We have Tev on Twitter at Anomalous Fringe and on Instagram at Anomalous _Enigma. And I finally made the little thing for you because you have World of Bando and you changed your Instagram too. So on Twitter, he's at World of Bando, and on Instagram is, what was it? BK _Bando.
Or 90.
_90. So,
There's mad underscores in the Twitter one as well too, though.
Yeah. And there are. Facebook.com/Pokes and Chokes, Instagram at Pokes Chokes Podcast, and listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and Transistor.
Are you waving back there?
He looked like he was waving, so he was just like, bye. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Little.